I want to say welcome to our first ever Pathways to Success event. We're really excited to have you all here tonight. This is a wonderful partnership between FACE Coalition, the Black Entrepreneur Alliance, Black Caucus Alliance, Nobelum, and Idea Mississauga. And a lot of work has gone into this between all of our different groups to make this happen tonight. So we're really excited to have it here. Welcome. So happy to have Councillor Kovac join us as well. Thank you. As well as our director, Christina Kakaflikas there. Thank you. I'm going to acknowledge the lands that we are on today, which constitute the present day city of Mississauga as being part of the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat and Wyandot nations. We recognize these people and their ancestors as peoples who inhabited these lands since time immemorial. The city of Mississauga is home to many global Indigenous peoples. As a municipality, the city of Mississauga is actively working toward reconciliation by confronting our past and our present, providing space for Indigenous peoples within their territory to recognize and uphold their treaty rights and to support Indigenous peoples. We formally recognize the Anishinaabe origins of our name and continue to make Mississauga a safe space for all Indigenous people and all of us here today. So thank you. A little bit about the space today. If you haven't been here before, this is Idea Square One. We are part of Idea Mississauga, the innovation district that is Mississauga, and we are a team under the Economic Development Office at the city. So we are here to grow, build businesses within the city, everything from I have an idea to growing businesses, innovative companies that we want to build unicorns. We want to build companies that can grow and stay here in Mississauga. So this building itself and the space that we're in has been a huge partnership. We've been working with Oxford Properties, who've allowed us a really great space here right in the center of the city. We picked this spot for a reason in Ward 4 that we'll talk about in a minute. But really the space is great because we have easy access to transit, easy access, free parking, visibility within the city. So we really wanted to be present and visible for the supports that are happening for everyone in our incredibly diverse city, that they can find us and be engaged and share their ideas and be inspired by others with great ideas, great opportunities to grow. We have mentorship, we have supports, everything from our summer company for students, Starter Company Plus for those looking to grow or start a company. You'll hear more about that in the fall or in the summer. We'll be launching that. As well as our Step Up program that Aliyu runs that is really focused on companies that are a little more innovative and scaling and growing within the city. So lots of supports as well as just day-to-day supports from our advisors like Sue and Nicole, Sneha, who runs our membership model. We've got the whole team here. And before I hand it off here, I want to thank Michelle and Aliyu, who were the leads for this event from our team. So thank you to everyone involved in getting this going. And now I'd like to introduce our Ward 4 Councillor, John Kovac, who's been such a supporter for everything here right from the beginning. So thank you, John. Oh, you need this.
Okay, that's okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. It brings me real pleasure to be here. A couple of weeks back, we had the 1-year anniversary of Idea, and it's great to really see over the last year how it's grown, how so many members from our community who are actually born and bred in Mississauga, or maybe not, but have made Mississauga their home, have been able to take advantage, gain from the various mentorship programming that's offered here, and who are entrepreneurs and are wanting to grow their business and their ideas, and have an opportunity to shine their creativity and what they might have to offer and scale up or scale down. And you could do that all here at Idea. On behalf of members of council, our current acting mayor, Matt Mahoney, as chair, Martin Reed, who is not able to make it, and myself, I welcome all of you. I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I want to say that we wish to ensure that everybody has an equal access to the tools and support necessary to excel in business. And we feel that Idea is one step that we can use to get that there here in Mississauga. And what I would like to see, and I'm working on it behind the scenes, and it's kind of minor, but I think it's actually going to be important. If we can get the logo of Idea right outside of the actual construct of the mall, so people have a clearer idea of where IDEA actually is. A huge thanks, though, to the collaborative efforts of IDEA, the Federation of African Canadian Economics, the Black Caucus Alliance, the Black Entrepreneurship Alliance, and Nobellum. We are embarking on a promising journey to empower Black entrepreneurs and business professionals in Mississauga, the region of Peel, and the Greater Toronto Area. Today, we feel is not just an opportunity to bring people together, but one where we can create, hopefully, pathways for success, concrete pathways for success. It's about providing, we feel, essential insights, connections, and resources that are necessary to propel all entrepreneurs and their dreams forward, both locally and globally. We have a lineup. Obviously, we can see on the back wall over here the distinguished guests who will be members of the panel who are here, industry leaders and professionals who will be sharing their success stories, but also the invaluable lessons that they have learned along the way. And we thank all of you for being here. Thank you so much. Aliu, who will be moderating, we thank him for stepping to the plate to do that. Your wisdom will help to light an easier path for aspiring entrepreneurs like yourselves. And if that wasn't the case, we wouldn't have a well-attended evening. This event also provides us all with the opportunity to expand our professional circle, a great networking opportunity, and who knows, it could be somebody right beside you or in the row right in front of you that you might be able to build a everlasting connection with and do business with and learn from one another and exchange ideas with. And we're proud of that. Everyone here has great talent and will bring, I'm sure, a very unique perspective, their experiences and their talents to the table. So thank you for doing that on a Tuesday evening. Thank you. IDEA Mississauga, along with the Federation of African Canadian Economics, the Black Caucus Alliance, Shelley Scott England, my friend is here. All the great work that she's done with the Alliance. Thank you, Shelley. The Black Entrepreneurship Alliance and Nobellum, which I mentioned earlier, playing a pivotal role in supporting and promoting entrepreneurship, again, in our region. So please take the time to learn about their initiatives through the evening. And let's understand the best that we can your missions to explore the resources and the opportunities that you have to offer. This knowledge will be invaluable as you navigate your entrepreneurial journey. My colleagues on council, as I mentioned, were not able to make it, so they send their regards, but we take immense pride in the work that IDEA does, pride in the City of Mississauga's commitment to fostering diversity and inclusivity through events such as this one. And together, I say, let's pave the pathway, the way for a future where every entrepreneur, especially here in Mississauga, has the opportunity to thrive. May today's event be a stepping stone towards greater success for all. Thank you very much. And without further ado, I will pass it back to Donna, or the moderator. The moderator, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you. Super formal, because all I'm going to do now is introduce Aliu Jalal, our Entrepreneur and Innovation Specialist. So handing it over.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Would like to introduce the panelists. And I'll start with Mel, and I'll just read a little bit of a bio for each of the panelists so that you could get to know who they are and who we're having today on this conversation. Melissa Ellis is a technology professional, community leader, and the founder and CEO of Nobellum Enterprise, a social enterprise and technology enterprise with a mandate to support startups for at least 100 Black-owned businesses in STEM by 2025. Melissa has a decade experience at the intersection of technology and project management. As a proud alumnus of the University of Toronto Scarborough, Melissa joined forces with her home campus to launch a fund to provide access to capital for startups in Nobellum Innovator Program, University of Toronto chapter, and an initiative designed to fund and train early-stage Black innovators to develop sustainable businesses. In recognition of her amazing work, Melissa was recently awarded the BMO Black Tech Community Builder of the Year and Alumni of the Year by the University of Toronto. Melissa is poised to empower the next wave of Black innovators by providing them with the opportunities to hone their skills, raise capital, and strategize for socioeconomic development. Welcome, Melissa. Next, I have Olu. Olu is a very close friend of ours as well. He's very within our circles. He's well known for the Black entrepreneurship. It was one of the first events I attended as an employee of of IDEA. Yes, so she gave me kind of the vibe. So Olu is the manager of the Black Entrepreneurship Alliance, a nonprofit incubator established by the Black Creek Community Health Center and backed by the York University, partners to support Black entrepreneurs and professionals in the agro-food, tech, skills development. In addition, Olu currently serves as the Director of Community Economic Development for Black Urbanism Toronto, where he supports establishing a commercial land trust to secure affordable commercial space for local Main Street businesses in Little Jamaica. Welcome, Olu. Sally Scott is also another incredible partner for IDEA Mississauga, and Sally, in addition to running her own business, Sally Scott England is the volunteer as the leader of the city's Black Caucus Alliance, a past member of the former Mayor Bonnie Crombie's Black Advisory Board, former board member of Brickway Family Services, Youth Service Director, Rotary Club of Mississauga, past chair, St. Peter's Paul Catholic Women's League, and past president of the Congress of Black Women Mississauga, just to name a few. Sally brings a wealth of experience in business, education, community, and budget creation and management. Sally's experience in education business spans over 30 years, while her active involvement in community over 40 years. Her understanding of issues facing our diverse community is wide and approach to addressing them varied. Sally's style is open to collaborative. She believes there is limitless potential and power in people willingly engage around shared goals. Welcome, Sally. All right. Last panel, I have Augustine Fisher. We've been corresponding a lot back and forth to make this event happen. Just a little bit backdrop is this event first started with a conversation. Phase wanting to set up something was like, no, we want the entire community around and let's make it big and make sure we have opportunities for everyone. So Augustine Fisher is the seasoned leader and currently serves as the Director for Communication and Stakeholder Engagement at the Federation of African Canadian Economics, that's called FACE Coalition. With a wealth of experience spanning from various geographies and industries, Augustus has demonstrated a remarkable commitment to advancing the mission of FACE Coalition within the African Canadian community. Augustine holds a Master's of Business Administration with a major in marketing from Argentiere Ruskin University in the UK. His academic journey delved into the intricacy of consumer choice influenced by content marketing, equipping him with the deep consumer understanding that channels into his professional endeavors. Augustine has showcased proficiency in strategic communication, strategically shaping narratives and building robust relationships throughout his career. His diverse experience having worked across continents and various industries underscores its adaptability and global perspective. His leadership is characterized by a dedication to excellence, strategic alignment of communication, efforts toward broader organizational objectives. Welcome, Augustine. Okay. Yes, so thank you. All right, just a quick housekeeping. There's restrooms just across the road and there's one inside if you just want to use them. And just for some of you that are in the, just create space for those who are coming later, so just be able to make sure they have a seat. So thank you so much, so they can feel in the front space. So thank you everyone for the opportunity. I just wanted to start with, if you can just give us a brief about your organization and what your mission is and what you're trying to accomplish. Over to you, Melis.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you to IDM Mississauga for putting together such a wonderful event. Super excited to be here with our co-panelists. So at Nobellum, we are actually a female-led accelerator. We are in the STEM space. My background, I am a software engineer. I build apps, web apps, mobile apps. And in that space, I wasn't seeing enough of us. I wasn't, and I'm talking about the largest transfer of wealth probably in this generation. It's happening in this digital revolution, and we're not present. And so at Nobellum, we're really looking at how do we support people in our community to be more involved in that. So we have an accelerator. We support startups at the idea stage. You don't even need to have a product. You do need to have a website and a pitch deck. Applications are open right now at nobellum.com. Shameless promo. And so and so we do accept idea stage companies. We are also looking for growth stage companies. So you got a product, it's working, but you need more clients, right? How do you get to that next step? We're also looking at supporting, and we also have support for internationals. So you could be anywhere in the world and participate in our program. And so with this program, we provide access to capital. To date, we've awarded over $100,000 in startup funding to founders who win pitch competitions through our program, as well as support with scaling your startup if you're looking to bring on more co-founders and you need that support. And so that's a little bit about our programming at Nobellum from the accelerator point of view. We also have a Women Investing in Women initiative where we connect accomplished women investors with aspiring female entrepreneurs, because that's a very hard thing to me. And I swear I thought investors were unicorns until I met them and I realized that they're moms and dads just like everybody else. And so really just normalizing, right, what that looks like so you're less intimidated going into those spaces. And so we support that. And then we also have a membership community coming up next month where we will be looking to have more curated supports for the ecosystem. And you know, when you really think about it, almost everything you do is STEM, right? Even food has a formula to it. So don't shoot yourself in the foot, don't self-reject, step into the next revolution of digital enterprises.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Melisha, for that incredible insights. Olu, over to you.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, how do you follow that? Like, that was like a star to me. Thank you, Alu and Donna from IDM Mississauga for having us. I would say for BEA, our mission and our North Star is to amplify and advance the next generation of Black entrepreneurs and professionals. So how we started it was actually, we started in Jane and Finch, and now we have all our services in Southern Ontario. Is actually a mission between, we were established by Black Creek Community Health Center, as you mentioned, and York University, because there was a lack of access, lack of comprehensive resources and capital for not only hyper-locally in Jane and Finch, but across the board. So that's how we started. And so we are the love child between these two institutions. And so with that being said, we service Black entrepreneurs. All of our programs are free, non-dilutive, so we do not take equity, and we have a no rejection policy. So we have folks from a pre-incubation level all the way up to growth and beyond, and folks exiting and acquiring businesses. And so the pillars that we kind of serve and work with York University and Black Creek with is actually food, so consumer packaged goods, getting them into mass retail, getting them into Loblaws, Sobeys, Metros. We have tech, similar to Mel. We have an investor ready program. We actually have a MVP program called Venture Catalyst. And a lot of our folks, how we service them is we support them financially through Investment Bootcamp, which is about 10K. But the real power is actually getting connected to investors and angel investors and family offices. So we have a lot of mixers. We have a lot of candid talks with no cameras because between founders and funders, it can get a little bit heated. So we do that. And as well as we do skill development, because what we're finding is that not everybody's going to be an entrepreneur. All right, but folks can work for entrepreneurs. So we work closely with Schulich Executive Ed of the Schulich School of Business to support folks getting like a mini MBA. And so it's about valued at $5,000, where we go through business strategy, communication, finance, how to be a great leader or manager, you name it. And that is a whole host of our programs. Now, right now, actually, we're getting more into youth entrepreneurship. So we have a co-op with York Region, as well as TDSB, really supporting youth entrepreneurs, getting them into entrepreneurship or skill development and getting their businesses up and ready, as well as we do original content. So we just don't always just do modules for business, but I think a lot of it's like seeing is believing. So we have like an Anthony Bourdain series called the Unlearn series, hosted by Boyd Reed, who is the co-founder of Hopin Technologies, as well as a mentor at Novellum. We do share. And as well as right now, we're working closely. Actually, IDEA Mississauga was a case study for our research. We want to open up a mixed-use innovation hub in between community and York University. So we're working on that. We just launched a report. Please fill out the survey. It's on our website, and that's it. Yeah, that's it for BEA. So I'll pass it on.
Thank you. All right. Yes, Sally, maybe give us a little bit background about the Black Caucus Alliance. You know, you've done an incredible work on that. If you can give us a little bit more on that.
Well, hello everyone, and to our staff here, Aliu, and everyone else who has put together this panel, and for you being here, really appreciation on that. So I'm representing the Black Caucus Alliance here today, and I'm seeing at least one other person who's here with me. Thanks, Duana. I look around the room and see. So we're a small group, but we're a mighty group, a group that I'm quite proud of. This group actually started as an advisory group to the mayor in I think it was 2020, following the George Floyd incident, when council wanted to know what the Black experience was here in Mississauga, which I thought was really was a good initiative. And what was even better is that we did some engagement sessions. All the engagement sessions were themed. So we had 6, and each was designed around a specific area: business, policing, health, and so on. And from those sessions, we had 64 recommendations, all coming from the community. It was put in a report and submitted to council, and council unanimously agreed to actually have these recommendations implemented. And I'm very pleased to say, the recommendations that came forward had to be separated. What was achievable within the city, what was achievable within the region, and what fell outside of that. So our council, or city council here in Mississauga, agreed we will support all the recommendations. And they have been working to actually institute everything that was asked for at the city level. And we're also working for those that were recommended for the regional level as well. And of the 64, I think it was, I believe we have hit about 48 of those recommendations already. So that speaks volumes for the commitment of our council, as well as what happens when we have participation from the community. Having achieved those, attaining those recommendations that were put forward, because what we highlighted were a lot of things like around policy and reviewing and things like that, and that has all been done. So where it comes to something like economic development, this is actually one of the recommendations that were put forward, that the city be able to work with the community, persons in business, to identify and actually help to harness some of the resources. And it's not always funding that we might need. We might need also, as entrepreneurs, we need training, we need support, we need a network, right? So in terms of that, that is being asked for, this is a manifestation of that. So kudos to you who have asked for it and to the city who is actually delivering that. So we're at a junction now with BCA. And that is, we are actually transforming. And we're transforming because having attained those recommendations, seeing that we're achieving what we've asked for, we are asking the question, are we satisfied with what we've done thus far? What would you say? What would you say? Are we satisfied with where we are? Are we saying we are way successful? We don't need any more help? Are we? No. Right. So we can go further. So we're transforming and looking at how it is that we not only access resources, but we're also positioned well to be able to receive and fully utilize the resources that we're being offered. Because we know we don't just want a fish, right? Am I the only one here? No, we don't just want a fish. We want to know what? How to fish, right? I tell the story all the time. One day my mother went out. She left the house saying she was going to buy some fish. I'm from Jamaica. So she was going to go buy some fish. She came back home with a boat. And she's like, I said, Mom, what are you doing? She says, well, your grandfather was a fisherman, I said, absolutely, he was not. He was a mechanic. She said, well, I don't have to ask anybody. When I want fish, I go get fish myself. So we want to know not just how to get a fish, but we want to know what? How to fish and how to have a boat. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. So Augustine, can you just give us a little bit more about what phase does as well?
Yes. Thanks, Shelly. I mean, I don't know how to follow that, but I'll just do my thing. Yeah, but quite a number of things happened in 2020, right? There was George Floyd. Everybody knows that. But there was also COVID. And in the time, when COVID came, there was too much uncertainty. People didn't know especially business owners, right? Quite a number of businesses shut down temporarily, some shut down, forever and stuff like that. But you see, government was trying. Government was trying to help entrepreneurs. But at the time, the founders or some, Black leaders realized that even though the government had the CBA, which was the Canadian Emergency Banking Account, it was, implemented through traditional financial institutions. And at the time, the Senate Black Caucus did a research or a study in 2021 that says that about 70% of Black entrepreneurs, say that access to funding is the greatest challenge that they have. And I'm sure that's still through today, right? A couple of, entrepreneurs find it difficult getting funding. But what was more interesting was the people that took the study, about 79% of them said that it was difficult for them to get $10,000, right? It was difficult to get just $10,000 to start or scale your business or whatever it was. So at the time, some, Black leaders went to government to say, hey, we need to set up something for Black entrepreneurs, because that's, Senate Caucus research also said that over 78% of the respondents said that they didn't trust traditional financial institutions to help them or to give them what they wanted. And true today, we see some entrepreneurs that have approached traditional financial institutions, they got ignored and those kind of things. Anyway, so government set up the Black Entrepreneurship Program to help Black entrepreneurs, and FACE, the Federation of African Canadian Economics, will manage a $160 million loan fund where we give loans to Black entrepreneurs.
Now, for us, our aim or our vision is to be a catalyst for generational wealth creation. Now, some people will argue and say, but loans or equity won't give you that, right? You need to consider other things. So at Face, we're not oblivious of that fact, but we say that this is the first lever, to catalyzing generational wealth creation. Because if you go to, any which way you look at it, as a business owner, you need funding, right? Be it equity, be it grants, be it, capital injection, whatever else it is, you need funding. And we believe that because we manage this loan fund for Black entrepreneurs, we can help Black entrepreneurs get to that level where they go then look for other types of funding, right? Even if you want to get a venture capitalist or an equity into your business, you must have started something, right? You must have got into some stage where people trust that your business can make it. So we believe that we're bridging that gap. We believe that we're bridging the gap between, a new immigrant, for example, that is trying to get into business and, getting an investor or getting some of these big banks to look at you because your business has already grown. So we're happy. We're going to be 3 years on Friday. Just 3 years old. And in 3 years, we've given out over 25 million. Thank you. And in 3 years, we've given over 25 million to close to 500 entrepreneurs across the country. Interestingly, it's a nationwide fund. But good thing is that Ontario has the most entrepreneurs that have benefited from the program. But we're still looking for more people. In 160 million, in 3 years, we've done, 25 million was at the end of second year. We're just working on our report now, and I'm sure that number, should have doubled. But it's still a far cry for 160 million. So we're looking for all these opportunities. We're looking for entrepreneurs to come. I always used to joke and say that I wish I could take the money home, but I can't. So we must give it out. And that's why we're happy to be here speaking to everybody, and hopefully a couple of you will benefit from the fund.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think all these different organizations are providing really invaluable services. And I think this is the purpose of this event today, to ensure that you know what these organizations are doing, what are the opportunities that are available, and you could get to ask your questions later on during the question and answers. So I just want to go forward to say, how can we support and launch growth businesses, particularly those that are led by underrepresented communities, individuals? Can we start?
So how do we support these underrepresented founders? When we started, the first thing we did was we asked the founders, what do they want? Some of the number one things that came back were community. They wanted a place or just a sense of belonging, people to test their first customer, to be their first sponsor, to be their first partner. So we became very intentional about hosting events where the community can come together. Coming up on June 15th, we have a Biz Summit. So far we have about 1,500 registrants, and within it, there's about 3 different rooms with different programming happening. And so very intentional about how do we bring each other together. Tons of different things happening that you can feel that community. Another thing is that it's access to capital. Like, we do a lot of training. Even myself, when I was studying software engineering, I signed up for an incubator. I got all hot and heavy. I was excited. And then I needed to incorporate and get a website. And I'm like, well, all this training is great, but I'm broke. And so, even just something small, like $1,000, $2,000, we try in every pocket we can to provide that access to capital. And then I think the third thing is sustainability planning. Right now, I think 4% of all Black-owned companies, and this study was a study done in America, but I'd say we're probably like the same. Only 4% of Black-owned companies had a second person working there. So what does that mean for future planning? What does that mean for scalability? So another thing that we're trying to do is roll out more support services where startups can grow and scale, whether that's bringing on co-founders, hiring staff. So those are some of the three supports that I found that it has been a big ask from the community. And then just in terms of doing my own evaluations on how we can support underrepresented founders, I think one of the biggest things is reaching out to allies and working with them so that they can open the doors to spaces that we are not in. And so a big part of our work is how do we connect those dots? How do we connect those bridges? And these are some of the core things that we're doing to support underrepresented founders.
Thank you. Yeah. Honestly, that's a wrap up question. I think Mel had all of them. But me personally, I think going back to Shelly's point with the fish and the boat, and my response in my mind is, I want to own the lake. So I think for me, and teaching others, it's the mindset of that you have to be gritty, you have to be scrappy, because yeah, you can get the 10K, the 20K, but it's going to be long nights. There's going to be a lot of no's. There's going to be a lot of setbacks. So what do you do? And how do you project yourself? What's the vision for you? And I feel like a lot of founders don't necessarily have that vision of, they kind of stop at a certain mark, but I'm like, you can go farther, right? So I think it's really about that mindset, really cultivating that mindset. So as that entrepreneurship mindset. But for us, of course, yes, it's capital, supporting them there. But I would really think the most important one is navigation, because there's a lot of different resources and people can get overwhelmed. People can get overloaded. So we help them navigate through that, because a lot of it, yeah, it's money, but it's also those networks, that social capital. Investors are not going to say, hey, you have a great idea. It takes a long time to build that relationship, right? Or even with the banks, it takes a long time to build that relationship. So how do you navigate? So for us at BEA, we try to get people in those rooms. So not just in Black ecosystem rooms, but the general entrepreneurship ecosystem, because that's a whole different world. And for us, it's about ecosystem building, because if you're not right with us, you can go to Nabellum. If you're not right at Nabellum, you can go to BFN. If you're not right at BFN, you can go to many others. So building up that ecosystem. So we got together, so BEA, Nabellum, and a whole bunch of other folks got together to launch the Black Innovation Zone, starting at Collision. And that's based off our experiences of being the only people in certain rooms. So we want to really highlight and increase representation of Black founders on the Canadian landscape, but beyond, and bringing folks in those rooms and bringing those funders to our founders. So we're not just teaching you theoretical stuff. We're taking you through how to connect with not only your business, but also different capital and funders. So that's what we do to support underrepresented founders. And as well as, for me, I'm a former planner. So for me, it's all about physical space and ownership. And that's the missing piece, especially if you want to commercialize your products. I'm looking at the CPG folks and some other brick and mortar folks, not just tech, but just other folks. You need spaces for you to grow, to build your team, to scale up, to meet other people. So that's what we're focused on right now at BEA. So I'm going to keep that short and pass it off.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Steady. Yes.
Okay. So, well, this is a demonstration of what I'm going to actually be talking about here. I cannot underscore enough what relationships are to business. There's absolutely no business that will survive without relationships, especially a small or medium business. Well, before you get to medium, you have to start small, right? And I remember, I'm going to put on my business hat here. I remember when we came into this country, and we were starting our business, and we went to this place that we were referred to actually find what is the process to actually, register a business and so on. And we got referred somewhere else. And when we went, what we were told is to do this, we would need to pay, I think it was about $12,000 at the time. And I said, 12 what? Absolutely not. And I got my older daughter and I said, listen, you're going to find out what this means and you're going to get it done and you have until tomorrow morning. Right. Now, in order to do something, I was confident in doing that because she had the capacity to do it. And so my point in mentioning that is we have to identify around us where capacity lies. So where it is, whether it's within our families first or in our friend circle. And we have to have that, what is it that Ron Friend Brenner calls it? That proximity, that I'm not remembering the terminology right now. But needless to say is when we're in business, first and foremost, it's those relationships that we must establish. We cannot underscore that enough. And so what the BCA is about is helping persons that have a history of being distrustful, of taking things on all to themselves, of helping to say, you can shed a little bit of that and you can open yourself up a little bit and ask for help, and help is there and everyone is there to support you in what it is that you want to do. In business, we identify, is it a service that we're going to be doing? Is it a product that we're going to be doing? And if it is, what service, what product, and so on? Is it a combination of the two? And we're working to create an ecosystem, a network of professionals, a network of persons who understand what it means to put that work in and what time you might have to get things done. And that time is money. I am sitting here and my clock is ticking. I'm saying, okay, as a small business owner, what is that 1 hour going to cost you? So we understand what is involved in you doing what you're doing. And so we all come together and we're looking to build that network that we're able to support each other. And we're also able to advocate. We have 2 representatives here, one from council. And as I said to you, Mississauga has a wonderful team on council, very open, very receptive. We also have Donna Hessling Aliu. We have a wonderful person standing around ready to help us, but we need to know what help we actually need. So BC helps us because we have 40 billion things running around in our head all the time, right? Help us to kind of piece it out and say, this is what we need right now. And 3 months from now, this is what we will need. So not only do we help in terms of building that network, but also advocating for some of the things that are needed.
Thank you so much. Okay, just to put this in perspective, I'll share some numbers. In Canada, you have about 2.1 million small businesses. Black small businesses or Black small businesses are only 144,000. Okay, so there's a huge gap. Now, in the 144,000, over 69% of those businesses are owned by immigrants. Okay. Now, for me, in addition to network, or even before you get to network, knowing people, the first thing is knowledge. And that's what we're chasing at, to say that entrepreneurs need to know, one, how to do business. Because you're passionate about an idea doesn't make you a good business person. So one, you need to know how to do business. But number 2, even though we manage a loan fund, some businesses are not ripe for a loan. Some businesses need to get grants. Some businesses need to get equity, right? Not every business can survive with a loan starting up, okay? So for us, what is critical is knowledge. And one of the things that we're doing as an organization is championing financial literacy, right? Because we realize that that is critical. Second thing that, one of the things that we talk about in my organization is to say, understanding the language. How do you speak to your bankers? right? So we hear a lot of people come back to say, you know, the advisor didn't, listen, or they ignored me, or they turned down my business idea or stuff. But what are you telling them? How are you telling them? So you're seeking a, loan, or you're looking for an investor or anything. What they want to hear is how your business is going to make money. How are you going to pay back the loan? How are you going to get profit for the investor? But if you come around and say, I have this great idea, I want to sell, for example, African, prints, because there are no African prints in Mississauga. But do people really want African prints in Mississauga? Those kind of questions, right? So for us, getting the background knowledge is critical, to be able to thrive as a business. One of the things that I've seen lately is you see African restaurants, right? But a lot of African restaurants are set up for Africans. How many Africans are in the locality where your business is? How do you intend to scale and make so much money selling to only Africans, right? One example I gave was Mandarin, Chinese restaurant, but they have franchises all over the place. How do they do that? How many African restaurants have franchises, right? So basic business understanding, because it's easy to say that we're a minority, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have that. But how prepared are we to take our business from where it is to the next level? So before we start looking at those networks, it's understanding what you really need as a business to be able to thrive, to be able to scale.
Thank you so much. And I think this is really important. And as you mentioned, I think that's one of the things that we're doing here at IDEA is really providing access to some of these opportunities. And it's one thing to have the network, but it's another thing also to know exactly what you want and how you can access those. So at IDEA, what we also have, in addition to some of the great things you said, is we have different programs for different people. So you can walk into IDEA and book a consultation, and you can sit with one of our consultants for an hour to just figure out exactly what you need, what resources you need, and navigate through those and really help you. But another thing that we also sometimes receive is that you don't expect the people or these programs to do your business for you. They're there to guide you. And you have to come prepared, willing to do the work. And once you're willing to do the work, they can point you in the right direction, provide you with the right guidance, open the right network for you to be able to grow your business to that point. So there are a lot of programs that are going on currently. We have the summer company that's currently in the process. So these are basically for students that are on the 15 years to 21 that are looking to start their business during the summer. They get a grant of about $3,000 through the process and all of that. Then we also have Startup Company Plus that is coming up, hopefully opening up really soon in June, July. There will be information sessions. You get to attend those to have access. And there's up to $5,000 grants that you can have access to unlock those with free mentorship, free training, free coaching, and free advisory. But it also comes back to the fact that you have to do the work, because if you don't do the work, you could have access to all these opportunities. You just attend one training to another, and you're not progressing in your business, and you go still stuck in the same loop of I don't have opportunities, I don't get the support, I don't have somebody supporting me with those opportunities. So I just encourage all of you, if you're looking at or you already have a business, really tap into these organizations to see how you could benefit from the resources they have and the network. You'll be surprised the amount of network these folks have on the table. I think a couple of weeks ago, Olu sent me a message like, oh, we have 3 grants, who should I give it to? And I was like, okay, which organization should I reach out to? So these are the things that are out there. There's so much resources and funding that are out there. You just need to know and have, and I think that's the goal of this event, to really show you what is available. And then you could know who you should talk to be able to get the right information to scale your businesses. So before just spending more time in that, I just want to talk a little bit about how mentorship and coaching is really essential. Like mentorship and coaching are crucial in navigating complexities of entrepreneurship. How do you ensure these opportunities are accessible to all entrepreneurs? So I just want to qualify this, not only to Black entrepreneurs. I know sometimes we want to build relationship within people we look alike, but sometimes we need to broaden as entrepreneurs beyond that demographic. It's not just because we're Black, we just only have to get the network. How can we access to other demographic? How do you build those entrepreneurs that providing to ensure that within your line of mentors and coaches, there's that diversity that allows the entrepreneurs to have the type of support that they need?
Yeah, maybe I should start out with that. Okay. The topic of mentorship cannot be overemphasized, right? And successful businesses, now it might be easier to relate with somebody that has similar background as you, right? To say you understand my pain, maybe you're an immigrant, and maybe when you started your business, you had difficulties, you know, accessing funding or whatever it is, but now I am successful, so I can learn from you. Fantastic. But that's not the only way to learn, or that's not the only type of mentor that will benefit you, right? Whether we like it or not, success doesn't have a color, right? Success doesn't care where you're from. If you're successful, irrespective of where you're from or what you look like or the background that you have. So having a network or having mentors within your space is critical. And in my mind, the only way, and Ali has talked about it, we need to put in the work. You need to look for those mentors. Now, there might be, you know, incubators or accelerator hubs where those mentors exist, but if you're of the kind of mentors you're looking for do not exist in those spaces, then you need to look for them, right? Good thing, I mean, before now we used to have 6 degrees of separation, but now we only have 2 degrees of separation because of social media. You can search for anybody online and connect with them anywhere. LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever, right? And I mean, I'm not going to say you should be a stalker, but if you have a, you know, but if you really know what you're trying to get, right? And you know, in the relationship of mentors and mentees, there's value both ways, right? You're not only going to be taking, you're also going to be giving. And in my opinion, if you bring value to the table, people will listen to you.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think people need to differentiate like mentors, sponsors, champions, all those nuances, because a lot of people just go in just mentors, and I think it's like they think it's like a one-way street, but it's a whole layered approach. And yeah, of course, we have mentors attached to our programs that are angel investors or are seasoned entrepreneurs or serial entrepreneurs. Those are great and all, but we try to coach our folks in terms of there's a differentiation in terms of mentorship and what you want to seek. Be very intentional, because like, for example, we used to have office hour experts. We still do. And people would never use them, or they would come into the meeting 30 minutes of not saying anything, or the program's completely done, and then 6 months later, hey, I need an office hour expert. So it's just like, be very intentional of what you want. If it's something in terms of, if it's equity financing, building up that relationship, stalking, yes, because you need to do your market research on who's out there, but really being intentional of cold calling, warm introductions to said mentor. But be very, very intentional. I would say also network. Get yourself out there. There's a lot of people that are scared of networking or scared of the dreaded small talk. Get used to it. It's your business. No one cares. Like, you need to get money, because at the end of the day, if you don't have money, if you don't have this, your business is flat. So really get yourself out there and let go of your ego, because trust me, people will forget you, right? So don't worry if you fumble your words. People will forget. But if you continuously connect with them, then you start building up that rapport. So definitely, please come out, shameless promotion, to Black Innovation Zone, June 14th to the 20th. Nebelim's Biz Summit is also part of that whole different events that we have, where we networking not only within the Black ecosystem, but the general ecosystem. So please do that, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that's supposed to be caring about your business, right? So be intentional and network. So that's it.
Thank you.
So
Daddy?
with BC, as was mentioned, we equip with information as well as connect and advocate. In business, again, I'm underscoring, in business, we rely on creativity quite a lot. Sometimes we don't quite equate that logical side of business to creativity because it's, you know, it's all out there. However, your business needs creativity to start and to flourish. And if we're thinking that we're only going to stay in one area and be creative, then you are defeating your idea